Galen looked down upon the death of his people. From the top of his castle atop a large hill in the center of his city, he could see an army of filth assailing the walls. The servants of Nurgle battered them with rotted timbers and corpulent beasts, hoping to bring them down and infect his city with their taint. While from above, massive insects leaking fetid fluids flew, unleashing bile on already weakened defenses. Between the walls and his castle stood his people. Dragon blades led by dragon nobles, with a larger force of elven militia, trying their best to hold back the inevitable. The city had stood for centuries against all foes, its dragons and their elven riders holding firm against forces that had crushed so many others. But recently, a sickness had spread through the city's few dragons, killing most and leaving the rest sickly and weak. Galen did not know whether it was a lapse in the usual cleansing rituals, a betrayer among his own people, or simply a new trick by the dark gods, but the result was the same. The dragons they relied on were down, and soon the city would follow. However, Galen would not allow their death to be quiet, to be another simple checkmark on the dark god's tally. He was the leader of a great city, a city that once, so long ago, was the capital of a grand kingdom. Galen called out the name of his mount, and Kranovin answered. A proud beast of regal bearing, the mighty drake flew up to meet him. Although sickness could visibly be seen marring its otherwise beautiful dark blue scales, it refused to show weakness. Its proud head held high and its loud roar just as strong as ever. Leaping towards the saddle on Kranovin's back, Galen mentally prepared himself for what he knew would be his last battle. The dragons took a great toll on the forces of Nurgle. Kranovin's fire breath turned bloated insects to ash, while his claws eviscerated filth-ridden soldiers. Nearby, other dragons unleashed lightning or acid, melting and electrocuting whole swaths of enemies. Despite the damage they inflicted, it wasn't enough to prevent their own. A dragon fell, its body pierced by dozens of infected stingers. Down below, a breach appeared in the walls and moss-covered warriors pushed through, turning any elves they encountered into corpses. Galen prepared to dive down to the breach, to even plug the hole with Kranovin and himself if necessary, when he heard something he thought he would never hear again. The sounds of dozens of dragons going to war. Off towards the midday sun, Galen could see an army. On the ground were hundreds of riders, their lances aimed directly at the Nurgle horde. And flying above them were dragons. So many they seemed to cover the entire sky with their majesty. Some from species Galen had thought extinct, their uniqueness lost to chaos long ago. At the sight of hope, the city's defenders rallied, pushing back what only moments before seemed an inexorable doom. Spirits soaring at the sight before them, both Galen and Kranovin roared and flew down, not to die in one last stand, but live and bring greatness to their people once again. Long ago, in the Age of Myth, there existed the Order Draconis, orders of elven nobles on dragon steeds and purebred horses. They ruled vast kingdoms across the mortal realms. However, like so many others during the Age of Chaos, those empires fell, the forces of evil toppling cities and killing dragons with methods as brutal as they were vile. Soon, many remnants of those empires fled to Azir, to hide behind Sigmar's walls as he crafted a new army to fight the darkness. However, not all of the empires of the Order Draconis could reach the gates in time, or were willing to leave their ancient homes. Those that were left held their ground, slowly whittling away during the centuries, but proudly fighting nonetheless. With the armies of Sigmar now in the march, the members of the Order Draconis that had survived in Azir take to wing and steed, not only using their forces as effective shock troops in the armies of Order, but also reconnect to the remnants of Order Draconis empires in the realms, hoping to meet their beleaguered cousins and recreate their empires of old. The leaders of these Dragon Lord war hosts are the Dragon Lords, on powerful fire-breathing dragons. They use both bow and lance to lead their forces to war. their war horn piercing the very sky. Below him are his nobles. Although prideful and somewhat arrogant, they take their charge seriously, willing to die defending the very citizenry they only derided moments before, their phoenix banner an inspiring sight to all those that follow. Finally are the Dragon Blades. Master fighters and horsemen, they make up the bulk of the Order Draconis' elite forces, charging into the fray without a moment's hesitation. To be of the Order Draconis is to be the noble head of an ancient empire, to destroy your foes with the piercing point of a lance and the burning breath of a dragon. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about the Order Draconis, the elite dragon-riding elves of the mortal realms. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you really like it, consider giving to my Patreon. With the extra money, it gives me the time I need to write these stories I love. Anyway, thanks for listening, and see you next time.